Hi, my beautiful creators. It's Kariana, your favorite witchy coach. All right, guys. So today I'm going to be talking about something that a subscriber had brought up and asked me what affirmations that I use to feel, confident, to have everybody, obsessing over me, chasing me, making me feel magnetic. And I'll get into that. We'll talk about affirmations. And I'll give you some examples. And then I also want to talk about a success story that I received, because that's something that I had mentioned on a previous video. How, I get success stories and reviews every single week, but I don't always share them. And the reason why is because, success stories are not meant to be something that we kind of obsess over and we compare ourselves to another person as far as like the details of our story or the time or anything. So I just want to preference this with, I'm sharing the success story. I'm always so proud of you guys and excited for you guys, whether I share it on the video or not. I get them from my reception and I'm always super duper like over the moon happy. But I just want to share this because I think that you guys need to hear about, the things that come in that I read, just to give you guys a boost of confidence. But this is no comparison. Okay. This is actually from a client that is a male. And the reason why I'm pointing that out is because I feel like this is a highly, female saturated community. And I feel like I love working with males. I love working with all of you guys, but empowering the males in this industry and giving them that boost of confidence to really step in their power and just become a better version of themselves. I think that that is needed to be talked about a little bit more, right? Because, LOA, therapies and all that stuff, it's kind of like guys don't really talk about that, right? So I love to, just give some points and kudos to my male clients that are kicking ass right now. And I'm going to tell you right now, my male clients that are watching this, you guys are going to know who you are. Every one of you guys are my success stories right now. You guys are all on fire. So I just want to say that I'm so proud of you guys. I'm so proud of all of my clients because you guys are we are all on fire right now. Okay. Before I forget, all of the information for my sessions will be down in the description box below. Reach out if you guys need help on this journey. I am more than happy to help you guys. Okay. Also too, don't forget to check out our free course, right? How to find your blocks, manifest anything fast. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Before I get into this, I just wanted to remind you guys of that. All right, so I'm going to read this and then we'll talk about some affirmations, guys. Okay. Very straightforward video. It's not going to be anything complicated. It's very straightforward. So basically my client had sent in the success story. I'm going to read it verbatim from his mouth. He wants to stay anonymous. So, we're leaving out brand details and names and stuff, but this will give you the gist of what he was going through. Okay. And how he got himself out of it. It says, I came to Kariana after a stress-related sick leave and a breakup with my SP. Feeling a bit lost. I was in a better place than I had been in for months, but I was still focused on the wrong things. Kariana told me in our very first session that my energy was a bit all over the place, which I didn't quite understand at the time since I actually felt better than I had in previous months. But then things really took off. I did the homework Kariana gave me, and even though I didn't fully believe all of it at first, I kept going. By the time Kariana and I met for our second session, so much had already changed. I felt like a new person, calm, stable, and confident. That's exactly what he wanted, right? Everyone I met, whether it be at my new job, in the supermarket, or anywhere else, confirmed all the things that I had been trying to impress upon my subconscious. They were just reflecting, right? They're just telling the story that you have within yourself. I won't list all the things people had said or all the amazing, beautiful things that have happened to me because the list would simply be just too long. I have been in a better place in my life. Oh, I have never been in a better place in my life. And all of it has came from within. Kariana has been the biggest help. She's no nonsense and she can see straight through any of your bullshit. I honestly would never have come this far without her guidance and support. Everything I have created has come from within me, But Kariana was the one who gave me the belief and motivation to make it happen. I ran into my SP a few days ago. We haven't been in contact for over 10 months. I'm blocked everywhere. And the last time we bumped into each other, she went out of her way to avoid me. This time, she confidently walked right up to me, told me 3 times how good I looked, asked about me and my life, and said it was lovely to see me, right as I insisted on going back to my training. The fact that she felt safe and confident enough to come up and talk to me was exactly what Kariana had helped me focus on. We're far from finished here, but I've already come so far that my whole life has turned into exactly what I wished for. I know my SP and I will be together, stronger than ever, before long. To anyone seeing this, just keep believing things are always happening behind the scenes. Change within yourself instead of trying to control and change anyone else. Good luck and keep going. I mean, like I always say, guys, I cannot make this stuff up. I mean, it's just, that's such a beautiful success story, right? He's getting all this movement from his SP. He's bumping into her everywhere. Like he said, she was confident to come right up to him, where before she completely avoided him. She had him blocked everywhere. She's coming in now, I mean, like all of these things are happening, and it's wonderful. And it's just because he went in and changed, everything changed within. And so everything changed without. And so it is, right? So I want you guys to take that as a confidence boost, a sign to keep going, that you're just as empowered as my client. And you're just as powerful as as my client, right? So even if you're feeling like down, lost, confused, questioning things while you're watching this video, you need to take this as your sign to keep going and step right back into your power. Okay. So guys, let's talk about affirmations. Okay. And if he chooses to give me another update, I will give you guys an update. But the last time that we had our session, this is what was going on. He wrote this right after, and he has been continuing on his journey. Everything is shaping the way that he wants it to shape. Everybody is conforming to him because they have no choice. He's decided, and everybody is just confirming the change within him. Okay. So take that with you. All right. So let's talk about affirmations. So I had made a video about, how to have somebody obsessing over you, be more magnetic, how easy it is. Right. And I don't ever want to come across as, confident or, I don't want to ever come across as cocky. I just want to come across as confident. And, to be quite honest with you guys, I had a new client that I'm now working with a couple sessions now. And she said, how I picked you, right? I picked you because of your confidence. And quite frankly, you're entitled. You come across as entitled. And she goes, but I'm not trying to offend you. And I laughed, and I said, I'm not offended. I'm complimented, right? I feel like that's a compliment for me to be confident and entitled in my reality. That's the whole point here. I want you to be confident. I want you to feel entitled. It's your quantum bubble. You should feel entitled. You're entitled to everything that you desire, period. Right? Nobody else is affected by your quantum bubble. They have their own, right? And you're not affected by them. So it works in a grand way that way. That's the law. And so when somebody tells me, oh God, you're so confident, or you come across as entitled, whatever, I'm like, hey, I'll take that as a compliment all day, because I am. It's my reality, and you should be too. There's nothing wrong with feeling, like I always say this to my clients when they struggle with feeling overly confident or entitled, and they're a bit of like that perfectionist people pleaser that I'm trying to pull out of them, right? That I'm trying to pluck that out of their subconscious, because I had to pluck it out of mine, right? That was my story for a lot of my life. Is I always say, right, you're not running around your reality being this dirtbag person. So why are you worried? I mean, you're a good person. You can be entitled You can be confident. You can want what you want, desire what you want, and stand on business with that, and be a good person still. You can have both, and society always teaches us that, I don't want to say always, but most of society, that isn't not enlightened to this, tells us that we can't be both, right? You got to be a kind person. You got to, people please. You got to put everybody else first or else, right? And so we got to get away from that thinking. And it took me a long time to unprogram that from my subconscious, right? But I did it. I'm here. And that's why I'm so successful at what I do for you guys. That's why I've been doing this for well over a decade, right? Because I get it. I get what you guys have gone through. I get the struggle, but I finally decided, put my foot down and finally decided, I'm not going to live my life like that. I'm not going to live my life in a cookie cutter. I'm going to break the mold. I'm going to do, the things that I desire to do. And I'm going to change within self, keep going back to self, putting myself first, and everybody else will confirm that change. If I put myself first, then everybody else will too. Okay. So let's talk about, I kind of wanted to set that up because I feel like there's just so many people that struggle with it. I mean, I see it literally in session weekly, and it needs to be talked about more in this community. And I have no qualms about talking about it. And I really don't, I mean, like I always say, no shade. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but I don't really care how people take this. I really don't. Because it's, in my opinion, the right way to think about yourself as a creator. Okay. So the affirmations that I've used, I'll give you some examples. Okay. I can't go into all of them because, throughout the time, I really don't switch. I'm not a huge, I've already said this, I'm not a huge long list affirmation type of person. I just don't feel like it's necessary. I always feel like you should go in straight, direct with your subconscious. The subconscious, I'm going to say again, does not like to be confused, period. It doesn't. It likes direction, and it needs something to feel. If you're going to pluck this old story out, okay, you need to be filling it with what you want to see next. Give your subconscious an assignment. It must stay busy because it is a problem solver. If you let it to just kind of run wild, right? And you say, oh, I don't care. It doesn't bug me. I don't care. And you have nothing else to fill it with. It's going to make up its own stories. Okay. And that can lead, I've said this before, I'll say it again. It can lead to a lot of confusion, chaos, or everything can seem like it's at a standstill. So you must give your subconscious something to bite on, something to solve. Give it an assignment. Okay. Give it the script, guys. All right. So I'm not a big long list type of affirmations person. I really honestly just live in a mental diet right now. I'm really honestly more than half the time unbothered with my 3D. If I get hung up on something that's not for long, I can pull myself out of it. So I just want to preference that, right? But okay. So, examples of like blanket umbrella affirmations that I've used that I don't really change much is like saying that everything in my life is perfect. Why? Because I'm perfection. I'm perfection. I like to follow it up with a why. So everything in my life is perfect. And then if my brain tries to fight me on something that I'm trying to call in, and it's being a little bit more difficult than normal, and my brain goes, but you don't have that, but you never had that, but that person's never. And I go, why? Because I'm perfection. If I'm perfection, then my life is perfection, period. Okay. So that's one of like my blanket umbrella affirmations, right? I always say that I'm spoiled. Everyone spoils me. That's one of my things that I always, affirm to my subconscious. Everybody spoils me. Okay. I always get my way. Everybody views me as the best. Isn't it wonderful? Everybody views me as the best. Why? Because I'm the best at what I do, because I'm the very best. I always remind my subconscious that competition is an illusion. It doesn't exist in my reality, right? I'm the best and only option. I'm the best and only choice. I'm the best and only selection for anything and everything. Okay. I always say that everybody views me as magnetic. Everybody sees me as a grounding, strong force. Everybody sees me as a powerful creator. Okay. I walk in the room, I get noticed. Isn't it wonderful how I walk in the room and I get noticed? Why? Because everybody views me as a magnetic, powerful creator. Okay. In my stories, if I'm scripting or anything like that, right? If I feel like I need to go in and script about a story, I also, sorry, my camera just did something weird. I also like to sit down and really script out something. Like if I'm trying to lay out like a new story in my subconscious and like get it in my subconscious, I like to script it out first, right? I'm always saying that everybody shows up for me. They love and support me and they never leave. They couldn't leave me if they tried. They can't leave my reality. I haven't fired them, so they can't leave if they tried. Everybody shows up, loves and supports me and gives me everything that I desire. They love and support me the way that I desire to be loved and supported, exactly as I desire. Okay, because if you have a story really quickly about, people showing up, loving and supporting you, well, they could be, but they could be loving and supporting you the way that they feel like they need to come in and provide for you. No, everybody provides, loves, supports me exactly as I need them to, exactly as I desire for them to come in. Okay. I always say that my bills and luxuries are all paid by somebody else. Why? Because I'm spoiled. Once again, like I said, I'm always saying that I'm spoiled. Okay. Everything that I give out, I get back tenfold. Right. So I always concentrate on obviously the positive things. Right. So all the love I give out, I get back tenfold. Right. All of the effort, all of the energy that I give out, I get back. I receive back tenfold, right? So those are just really quick examples, guys. And then, because I don't want to make this video too long, let me really quick tell you, right? I put this in my short. It's going to be a couple days ago now, but affirmations are a lot easier to put together than you think they are. Don't make them hard. Don't make them complicated. Okay. You want to go straight into your subconscious, be direct and very precise. Okay. With what you want to push out, what you want your subconscious to get curious about and to start impressing, right? To accept. So very direct, very precise on what you want. Don't complicate things. Okay. Always put action into it. Okay. So, and always use very powerful statements like without a doubt. Without a doubt, I know, blah, blah, blah. Without a doubt, SP is da, 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 da. Okay. Action, action, action as well. I'm huge on action. I've talked about this since I've gotten on this channel and beyond that. Okay. Very simple, direct, precise on what you want. Bring action into it. Powerful statements like without a doubt. It's always been this way. Right. Yeah. And I feel like when you're manifesting an SP, okay, you want to sit down and think about how do I want them to come in action wise? What do I want to see, feel, and hear from this person? Okay. What do I want to see, feel, and hear from this person? Now, of course, when you're making affirmations, you're not going to just, I guess you could, if you're thinking about going into session with a coach, or if you already have or whatever, and you're coming up with your own affirmations, you really need to have some direction on what the story that you need to be squashing. Okay. We all have blocks and resistance. We all have a backstory. Okay. And I, once again, want to make it very freaking clear because I am huge about treating mind, body, spirit, all connected because we're all energy. Okay. I'm not going to go into that. I've already gone into it with many of my videos. And I do wholeheartedly believe that being regulated has a lot to do with how you bring your manifestation in, how you keep it is the most important. Okay. Why? Because you can absolutely manifest in a bad state. You can manifest dysregulated AF. Okay. Not going to say that you can't. But if you're so dysregulated that you can't keep a proper mental diet, you're all over the place, you're bouncing around, your energy's all over the place, you have this assumption now that you're anxious and all of these things are going on, and that's your story now. You're anxious, you're having panic attacks, you're dysregulated, and you're not taking care of that. You're not changing that story and flipping it. And I do believe that flipping it and then also dropping into the body and or the mind, depending on what your story is, you can flip that. But if you don't take care of that, then you will become dysregulated. And it's hard to manifest from that state. Okay. I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. If you cannot come from at least a neutral space, a neutral state, while manifesting, it's going to make it very hard for you. Yes, you can. You can manifest in that. You can. If you can keep a proper mental diet in that dysregulated state, in that anxious, panicky state, whatever your story is, okay? Yes, you can call in what you want. I'm not trying to say you can't manifest from that. You can, okay? But are you going to be able to stay steady enough to have a proper mental diet? Because I always say you can set everything else down, but you can't set a mental diet down. If you cannot hold a proper mental diet, you are probably going to find it very hard to manifest, call in what you really, really want. And you're definitely going to have a hard time keeping it. Okay. So I'm going to just leave that there. Okay. So yeah, that's my take on it. But yeah, just being very direct, bringing in action, very powerful statements before your affirmations when you're focusing on, especially an SP per se, because I know a lot of you guys are going to be looking at this video pertaining to an SP story that you're trying to change. You need to be asking yourself, what do I want to be seeing, feeling, and hearing from this person? And of course, anybody's affirmations are going to be designed to knock out your blocks and resistance. Okay. And that is something that I cannot tell you what that is on video. I can't. Everybody's story is different. All right. So I'm going to leave it there. You know that I love you guys so much. And you guys are really powerful. I mean, like I said, I've got so many people coming in hot right now with their manifestations. And I'm very proud of this client that I just spoke about. Amazing work. And like he said, he's going to keep going. And that's what I want to hear. That's what I love to hear from you guys. You guys are just going to keep going, get back on the horse. You might get knocked down 5 times. You get back on and you keep going. Okay. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to see you guys in my next video, and you guys take care. Bye.